I always thought that if betrayal ever knocked on my door, it would feel like a sledgehammer to the chest. Instead, it felt like a slow knife, twisting deeper with every second. Started on a random Tuesday. I got home from work early, something I never did. Emily wasn't expecting me. The house was quiet, too quiet. Then I heard it, a low laugh from upstairs. A man's voice. For a second, my brain refused to process it. It was like hearing an alarm in a dream. Loud, intrusive, but not quite real. Then reality snapped into place. Someone was upstairs, with my wife, in my house. I moved without thinking, taking the stairs 2 at a time. The bedroom door was half open. Inside, Emily was sitting on the edge of the bed, legs crossed, wearing my t-shirt, his hands on her thigh. Some guy, some dead man who didn't even flinch when I walked in. He just looked at me like I was a stray dog that had wandered inside. Emily, on the other hand, had the audacity to roll her eyes. "Oh, Jake, not now, not now, not now." I wasn't even angry yet. My body was ahead of my emotions, running on pure instinct. I stepped inside, staring at the guy. He was younger than me, gym fit, with that smug look men wear when they think they're untouchable. He smirked, actually smirked. "You must be Jake," he said. My wife's lover knew my name. That was the first moment I felt it. The fury, rising like a storm in my chest. I clenched my fists. "And you are." He leaned back on his elbows, comfortable. Too comfortable. "I'm the guy your wife calls when she's bored." I don't even remember crossing the room. One second I was standing in the doorway, the next, his collar was in my fist and I was hauling him off the bed. Emily gasped, jumping up. "Jake, stop it. Stop it." He was in our bed, touching her, smirking at me, and I was supposed to just stop? He didn't look so smug when his back hit the wall. His eyes went wide. He wasn't used to consequences. Emily grabbed my arm, nails digging in. "Jake, let him go." I turned my head, looking at her. Really looking. She wasn't scared. Not upset. Not guilty. Just annoyed. Like I was embarrassing her. That's when it hit me. This wasn't some one-time mistake. This wasn't an accident. Emily wasn't sorry. And that meant neither was I. I stood there, breathing hard, my fist still clutching this guy's shirt. He wasn't laughing anymore. His hands were up, trying to act cool. But I could see it in his eyes. He wasn't used to things not going his way. Emily was still clawing at my arm. "Jake, let him go. You're acting crazy." Crazy. That word flipped something inside me. I was the one acting crazy, not the guy sitting half-dressed in my bedroom, not her. For bringing him here, I let go. Not out of mercy, out of disgust. His back hit the wall again, and he scrambled to fix his shirt. Emily put herself between us, glaring at me like I was the villain. "You're embarrassing yourself." Embarrassing myself. I let out a short laugh. "You brought him into our house, into our bed, and I'm the one embarrassing myself?" She crossed her arms.
"No guilt. No shame.
Just defiance. "What do you want me to say, Jake? That I'm sorry? Would that make you feel better? Would it?" I looked at her, the woman I had built a life with, the woman I thought I knew. I had pictured this moment before, the what-if nightmare scenario. In my head, if Emily ever cheated, she'd be crying, begging, regretting. Not this. Not standing there like I was some inconvenience. My gaze shifted back to him. He was watching me now, arms folded, like he thought this was over. I took a step closer. His jaw tensed, but he held his ground. "You think this is funny?" I asked. His lips twitched. "I think you should walk away before you embarrass yourself more." That was his biggest mistake. The next second, he was on the floor. Emily screamed, "Jake, stop!" But I wasn't listening anymore. This wasn't about her. This was about him. This arrogant nobody who thought he could walk into my house, touch my wife, and then smirk at me like I didn't exist. He scrambled back, hands up. Dude, chill." Too late. I didn't feel the punch land. I just felt the impact, the way his body folded under it. He let out a wheeze, rolling onto his side. Emily shoved me hard, screaming something, but I barely heard her. The guy coughed, groaning. "You psycho." "Get up," I said. He didn't. He just stayed there, hand on his stomach, sucking in air. I stared down at him. You ever come near my house again? We won't be having a conversation next time. Silence. Then he nodded, quick and shaky. I turned to Emily. And you? Get out. Her eyes widened. What? You heard me. You and your boyfriend can leave. Now. She hesitated. Jake. Be reasonable. I stepped closer, lowering my voice. You stopped being my wife the second you brought him here. Now get out. For the first time that night, she looked rattled. Good. She grabbed her purse, yanked the guy up, and stormed toward the door. He limped after her without another word. I followed them downstairs, watching as they left. The second the door slammed, I was alone. My hands were shaking. My chest was tight. My home, our home, felt like a stranger's house. I exhaled slowly, looking around. The life I had, the marriage I thought was unbreakable, gone. And now, it was time to decide what kind of man I was going to be next. The door slammed shut behind them. Silence. My breath was coming in short, uneven bursts. My fists were still clenched, knuckles raw. The house felt wrong, like I was standing in the ruins of something that used to be mine. The bedroom, our bedroom, was upstairs, but I couldn't bring myself to go near it. I pictured them there, whispering, laughing. Him sitting on my bed like he belonged. I turned sharply and walked into the kitchen instead. I needed something to anchor me, to stop this feeling like my insides were trying to claw their way out. I yanked open the fridge, grabbed a bottle of whiskey, and poured myself a drink. My hands were still shaking as I took the first sip. The burn grounded me. That was when the rage started shifting, morphing into something colder, sharper. Emily wasn't just unfaithful. She was brazen about it. She didn't stammer. She didn't cry. She didn't even try to lie her way out of it. No, she looked me dead in the face and treated me like an inconvenience, like I was some outdated furniture she hadn't figured out how to get rid of yet. And that guy, he looked at me like I was less than him, like I was a joke. I took another slow sip of whiskey. My heartbeat had steadied, but my mind was running wild. How long had this been going on? Because this wasn't new. I could see it now. The late nights, the fake fights she picked just so she could leave the house. The sudden business trips. And I had let it happen. That realization stung worse than the betrayal itself. I put the glass down and reached for my phone. My hands had stopped shaking. My movements were deliberate now. I went to our shared phone plan. Call logs. Emily's number. A second number, appearing over and over again. At all hours. I copied it, then ran it through a reverse lookup. The name that popped up made me freeze. Tyler Henshaw. That name sounded familiar. Too familiar. Then it hit me. Emily's boss. I let out a slow exhale, pressing my fingers against my forehead. She wasn't just sleeping with some random guy. She was sleeping with the man who signed her paycheck. The man she had complained about for years, calling him an arrogant jerk. Apparently, he was just arrogant enough. I wasn't stupid. I knew men like Tyler. He was rich, powerful, and married. I smiled, but there was no humor in it. Well, I picked up my phone again, this time searching his name directly. It took less than a minute to find what I needed. Picture. Tyler Henshaw, in a crisp suit, standing beside a beautiful woman and 2 kids. Perfect little family. And my wife was his dirty little secret. I exhaled, feeling something shift inside me. The rage wasn't blinding anymore. It was precise, controlled. Emily thought she could humiliate me. Tyler thought he could walk into my house, into my life, and smirk in my face. They had no idea what was coming. I stared at the picture on my screen. Tyler Henshaw, standing next to his wife, his hand resting on his son's shoulder. Family man, a respected businessman, a pillar of the community. And he had walked into my house, smirked in my face, and thought he could walk away untouched. I swiped through more photos, vacations, charity events, awards. The man had built his life around an image of power and respectability. Let's see how he likes watching it all burn. I took another slow sip of whiskey, my mind racing ahead of my hands. I wasn't going to lose control. I wasn't going to throw punches like some blind idiot swinging at the air. No, this needed precision. I opened a new text and typed in a number. Not Emily's. Her best friend, Vanessa. I had never been particularly close to her, but I knew one thing. Vanessa was a gossip tornado. She collected secrets and spread them like wildfire. Me, hey Vanessa, I know you and Emily talk a lot. Did she ever mention Tyler Henshaw to you? I barely had time to put the phone down before it buzzed. Vanessa, wait, why? Hook, me. Because I just caught him in my house. 5 seconds. That's all it took before the typing bubbles appeared. Vanessa. What? Vanessa. Are you saying Emily and Tyler? I let the silence stretch. Then, me, you tell me. Vanessa took the bait. And just like I expected, she started talking. How Emily had been acting different. How she'd been bragging about this new relationship but never said who it was. How she'd mysteriously started dressing better and talking about making moves in life. Vanessa didn't even realize she was confirming everything I already knew. Then she dropped the golden ticket. Vanessa, wait. Does Tyler's wife know? Because she should. Perfect. Me not yet. But she will soon. Vanessa's response was instant. Vanessa. Oh my God. Jake, are you going to tell her? Me. Oh, I'm going to do a lot more than that. I set my phone down and leaned back, staring at the ceiling. Tyler had power, sure. But the one thing men like him feared more than anything? Exposure. His wife. His reputation. His entire polished image. I wasn't going to let Emily and Tyler sweep this under the rug. They wanted to act untouchable? Fine. I'd make sure everyone knew the truth. And I was just getting started. I wasn't going to barge into Tyler's office and start throwing punches like some idiot in a bar fight. No, that would be too easy. And easy wasn't satisfying. I wanted destruction. I wanted Tyler to feel what it was like to have his life crumble in real time. So I started with his wife. I found her Instagram in less than 5 minutes. Hannah Henshaw? All soft smiles and perfectly curated family photos. She had no idea her devoted husband was rolling around with my wife in hotel rooms. That was about to change. I composed a message. Short, cold, direct.
Anna.
You don't know me, but you need to know what your husband has been doing. Tyler has been having an affair with my wife, Emily. I have proof. If you want it, I'm happy to share. I attached a picture. The hotel receipt. Time-stamped. Undeniable. Then I hit send. Now all I had to do was wait. While my phone sat in silence, I got to work on phase 2. I still had Vanessa on the hook, and she was hungry for drama. If I nudged her in the right direction, she would make sure Emily's entire social circle knew the truth before morning. So, I sent one last text. Me. Vanessa, I know you and Emily are close, but if I were you, I'd keep my distance. Because when this gets out, it's going to be messy. I knew Vanessa well enough to know what that would do to her. It would ignite her curiosity like gasoline on a fire. She wouldn't be able to keep her mouth shut. By tomorrow, the rumor mill would be in full force. Emily wouldn't be able to escape it. And that thought, that finally made me smile. I took another sip of whiskey, letting the silence settle around me. The house still felt empty, but now it didn't feel like a loss. It felt like a battleground, and I was about to win the war. Then my phone buzzed. I glanced at the screen. Hannah Henshaw. Call me. Now. Game on. I stared at my phone for a second, letting the weight of the message sink in. Hannah Henshaw. Call me. Now. I exhaled slowly, then pressed the call button. She picked up on the first ring. Who are you? Her voice was sharp, clipped, like she was barely holding it together. Jake, I said. My wife, Emily, is screwing your husband. Silence. Just tense, shaky breathing on the other end. Then, prove it. I expected that. Hell, if someone had called me out of nowhere with this kind of bombshell, I'd want proof too. So I gave it to her. I sent you a picture of a hotel receipt, I said. That's just the beginning. Your husband has been meeting my wife for months. Late-night calls. Business trips that weren't really business. I even caught them in my house. Hannah inhaled sharply. Your house? Yeah. My grip on the phone tightened. Tyler was sitting on my damn bed, acting like he belonged there. She didn't respond immediately, but when she spoke again, her voice was different. Colder. Do you have more? She asked. I smiled. Oh, I have plenty. I spent the next few minutes laying it out. Call logs, messages, the little details only a husband would notice. I held nothing back. By the time I was done, Hannah was silent again. Then she laughed. A short, bitter sound. Unbelievable. I waited. Then she said, "You know what the worst part is? I'm not even surprised." That caught me off guard. "You're not?" "Oh, I've had my suspicions for a while," she admitted. "But Tyler's careful. He covers his tracks. And I didn't have anything solid. Until now." I could hear something shifting in her voice. The pain was still there, but underneath it was something else. Something dangerous. "What are you going to do?" I asked. Hannah let out a slow breath. "I don't know yet. But when I do, you'll be the first to hear about it." Good. Because if she was anything like me, she wasn't going to let this slide. We exchanged numbers, and I told her to call if she needed anything. Then I hung up and leaned back in my chair. Step 1. Complete. Step 2. Make sure Tyler Henshaw never forgets my name. The next morning, I woke up to chaos. My phone was on fire. Texts, missed calls, notifications exploding from every direction. I already knew what it was before I even picked it up. I had lit the match. Now the fire was spreading. Vanessa had done exactly what I expected. Emily's betrayal wasn't just a secret between us anymore. It had detonated inside her friend group. The texts were brutal. "Maggie. WTF, Emily? Is it true? Jason. Dude, I just heard. I'm so sorry, man. That's messed up. Rachel. Emily, tell me this isn't real. You wouldn't do this, right?" I scrolled, watching Emily's life unravel in real time. She wasn't responding to any of them. Radio silence. Good. Sit in it. Then, I saw the name I was waiting for. Hannah Henshaw. Her message was simple. "Hannah, it's done." I smirked and called her immediately. She picked up, and I could hear the controlled fury in her voice. "Well, Jake, I hope you're enjoying your morning. Because my husband just got served." I grinned. "Tell me everything." "Oh, where to start?" She exhaled, and I could hear the satisfaction in her voice. I packed his things and left them on the driveway. Locked him out of the house. Then I sent everything, the hotel receipts, the messages, everything, to his company's board of directors. I wonder how they'll feel knowing their golden boy is using business trips as his personal playground. Damn. I actually laughed. "You work fast. You gave me the ammo. I just pulled the trigger." I leaned back, grinning. "So, where is he now?" "Oh, he's calling me non-stop," she said. "But I'm not answering. Last I checked, he was still standing outside our house, looking like a kicked dog." I loved that. "One more thing," Hannah said. "I found Emily's number in his phone. You want me to send her a little something?" I almost felt bad for Emily. Almost. "Do it," I said. Hannah chuckled darkly. "Done. I'll let you know when he breaks." We hung up. I put my phone down, exhaling slowly. Emily and Tyler thought they were untouchable. Now, Tyler was losing everything. Emily's name was turning to poison. And me? I was just getting started. I didn't have to wait long for the fallout. Emily finally cracked. My phone rang that afternoon. Her name flashed on the screen. I let it ring, let her sit in the silence. Then, a text. "Emily, Jake, we need to talk. Call me." I smirked. "Now you want to talk?" I took my time before replying. "Me about what?" She called again. This time I picked up. The second I answered, she exploded. "What the hell is wrong with you?" she shrieked. "Are you seriously trying to ruin my life?" I stayed silent. Let her dig her own grave. She kept going. "Vanessa told everyone. My friends, my coworkers. Jake, people at my job are whispering about me." I almost laughed. "Oh, so you don't like it when people talk behind your back? That's funny. Don't play games with me." Her voice was shaking. "You told Tyler's wife, didn't you? Do you have any idea what you've done?" "Oh, I have a pretty good idea," I said casually. "Tyler's locked out of his house. His career is in flames. And you? You're just collateral damage." "Collateral damage?" she screeched. "Jake, I lost everything." I sat back, smirking. "Oh, you mean Tyler? That's cute. You think he's going to save you?" Silence. I hit the nerve. She inhaled sharply. "He's not answering me." Of course, he wasn't. I knew men like Tyler, selfish, gutless cowards. The second things got messy, they ran. Emily had burned our marriage for him, and now? He was leaving her in the ashes. That's rough, I said, not even pretending to sound sorry. She lost it. You think you're so righteous, don't you? She screamed. But you're just pathetic. You're a bitter, spiteful little man who can't handle that I wanted more than your boring, miserable life. That should have hurt, didn't? Because now I saw her for what she was. I smiled. Well, you got what you wanted, Emily. You're free. No husband, no reputation, and no Tyler. Enjoy. Then I hung up. She called back. I blocked her. I never felt lighter. And as I stood there, staring at my quiet, empty house, I realized something. I won. Emily was done. She just didn't know it yet. I blocked her number, but that didn't stop her from trying. She sent emails, tried calling from different numbers, even showed up outside the house once. I didn't answer the door. Let her rot in her own mess. But Tyler? He still had more to lose. I wasn't finished with him yet. So I did what Emily never thought I was capable of. I got smart. I dug through every shared account we had. Netflix, email backups, old cloud storage. And there it was. Emily had never been good at covering her tracks. I found messages, pictures, video clips she had saved. Some of them, very compromising. I smiled. Checkmate. Now, I wasn't stupid. I wasn't about to do anything illegal. But I didn't have to. I forwarded everything to Hannah. Let his wife decide his fate. She called me the moment she got them. Jake, are you sure you want to go this far? I grinned. I don't want anything. I'm just giving you the truth. She exhaled. Then let's finish this. Hannah went nuclear. She didn't just expose him to their social circles. She sent everything to his business partners, the school where their kids went, the local press. Tyler's perfect image shattered overnight. His company issued a statement about internal investigations. Translation: they were cutting him loose. By the next morning, he was fired. His business contacts stopped returning calls. His entire career gone. And just when I thought things couldn't get better, a video surfaced. Someone, probably one of Hannah's friends, leaked footage of Tyler standing outside his house, locked out, screaming like a lunatic. It went viral in our town. People shared it, mocked him. The mighty Tyler Henshaw, reduced to a pathetic, raging joke. I watched it on repeat, sipping my coffee. Poetic justice. Emily threw away our marriage for this man. Now they were both drowning. And I had never felt more free. The storm had passed. Emily was ruined. Tyler was finished. And me? I had everything I needed. The day after the video of Tyler screaming outside his house went viral, I got a text from an unknown number. Unknown: Jake, please, just talk to me. Emily. I let it sit there. Let her feel the silence. Then, for the first time in days, I replied. Me? Why? Emily. I messed up. I know that. But you didn't have to destroy me. Me, didn't I? She called. I let it ring. Then another text. Emily, Jake, please. I don't have anywhere to go. I almost laughed. The woman who had treated me like a doormat, who had smirked in my face while her lover sat in my house, was now begging. Poetic. I took my time before answering. Me, that's not my problem. Emily. I didn't mean for this to happen. I don't know. I thought he would take care of me. But he won't even answer my calls. I leaned back, smirking at the screen. Of course he wouldn't. Tyler had lost everything because of her. His wife, his career, his reputation. He wasn't about to pick up the scraps and save her. And Emily? She had burned her life to the ground for him. Now she was standing in the ashes. She called again. This time I picked up. The first thing I heard was her shaky breathing. Then, Jake, please, can we just talk? I let the silence stretch, then said, no. Then I hung up. And that was the last time I ever spoke to her. The next few weeks were peaceful. No more Emily. No more fake smiles. No more wasting my time on someone who never deserved me. I went to the gym again, fixed up the house, started living for myself instead of someone who had stopped caring about me a long time ago. And Tyler? Well, the last I heard, his wife took everything. The house, the kids, half his money. His name? A joke. Emily? Vanished. She tried staying with friends, but no one wanted her around. Even Vanessa, the gossip queen who loved drama, cut her off. In the end, she got exactly what she deserved. Nothing. One night, I was sitting outside, sipping a beer, feeling the weight of my old life finally lift. And I smiled, because for the first time in years, I was free.